it's Natalie from Not Christmas Autism Girl. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be revealing the title of the movie that is closest to my heart, which is the name of this video. It's Kuumba, which is a movie about a zebra who is born with only half his stripes, and he goes on this journey to try to earn the rest of his stripes. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about reviewing them. I'm going to be doing a summary of the movie. I'm going to be reviewing it, and then I'm going to be saying why it relates to me as someone with autism. So let's get started. So first of all, Kuumba is this cartoon. It's about, Kuumba, the narrator, starts by saying how the zebras are hoarding all this water. They're the only watering hole for miles. There's this big enclosure around it. And he's born, Kuumba. He's born with only half his stripes, and a drought happens, so his herd blames him for the drought. And so eventually his mom tries to teach him that being different is actually okay. So she tells him the story about the first zebras that walked this earth had no stripes. And so there's this zebra who journeyed across the Great Karoo, and he earned his stripes. And so the other ones followed suit and decided they wanted to be like him, but he wasn't different anymore. And so she's trying to teach him something like they were all the same. And he doesn't get the lesson, but earlier, the mantis had drawn him a map. So he goes and follows the map, and his best friend, Hambi, he leaves her behind because they had a big fight before. And then his mom dies, so he ends up leaving. And so he meets this big wildebeest, Mama V, and I forget the ostrich's name. I should have written it down. Bradley. Yeah, Bradley. He meets this ostrich named Bradley, this wildebeest named Mama V, who decide they're going to go with him to try to find a magic watering hole, because they're like, we need water. There's been a drought. So they decide they're going to go with him after fighting off some dogs, including Skulk. And Skulk is trying to convince Kuumba to get him some water if he gives him his stripes. So that doesn't work out so well for him because the pack just wants to eat Kuumba. So in the end, there's this leopard who's the main antagonist. It's Fongo, and he is after Kuumba. It's not really known at this point why he's after Kuumba, but he is, especially when Skulk says he's only half striped. So he says something about some sort of foretold. It was foretold. So that's all we really know at this point. So then they're on this journey, and they end up at this man-made watering hole, and Kuumba ends up being captured. So then they decide to leave, but not before this endangered bunny tells him about the Black Eagle. He got the Black Eagle to find the way. So then the Black Eagle tells him how to get there. Tells him it's in Fongo's cave, the leopard, and he tells him the story that Fongo was the outcast of his herd because he was born blind and one-eyed. And so he got his revenge, but it wasn't enough. He just keeps on killing, and the Black Eagle is white. So Kuumba says to him, I'm just tired of being different. I think you know what that's like. So it's a really cool moment between them, and so that's what convinces him to tell him about them. So then, after they leave, they meet this crazy sheep who reveals that, the watering holes are forcing Kuumba to reveal that the watering hole is in Fongo's cave. So then Mama V and Bradley decide to separate from him. And then when they discover that Fongo is specifically after Kuumba, they know he knows where he's going now. They decide to go warn Kuumba, so they change their mind. And meanwhile, Tombi, Kuumba's best friends, and the whole herd believe that Kuumba's dead because his father found some tracks where only Fongo's came out. So then they decide that the zebras eventually are convinced to leave the enclosure. So they set off to go find new water. And so they're traveling the same trail across the Great Karoo, just like Kuumba did. Although they somehow get through it a lot faster. I don't know how that makes sense. But anyway, so then as Kumba is racing through the sands. He's going through some sort of salt field. He meets an antelope that he had actually helped earlier in the movie, and trying to get her water, but it got him in trouble. So she helps him until he calls him a zebra, and he doesn't think he's a zebra. And so she asked him, "How many more stripes will make you a zebra?" And he says, "I'll settle for 5." And so then he ends up going inside the cave, and he's trapped because his dad and Mama V and Bradley all trying to go out and after him, and so does everybody. So what's really cool is as he leaves the man-made watering hole, they all follow, and he meets this herd of, I forget what species they are, honestly, but he meets this other herd, and they decide they're going to follow him too. So as he journeys, he affects all these people, including some crazy rodents that worship the black eagle. So they all end up following him up to the cave, but they can't follow anymore because a storm happens, and it finally, and so the lightning blocks them from being able to follow. So in the end, Kumba is fighting Fongo, and he tries to convince him, and he's hesitant to go in the watering hole after all this because he realizes what his mom was trying to teach him. They were all the same. He doesn't quite get it yet, but he's starting to get what his mom was trying to teach him. And then Fongo finally reveals why he's been after Kumba. It's because the half-striped zebra would make him the most powerful hunter who ever lived. So he wants that, being a leopard. So he gets in this fight. Kumba runs. He ends up falling to his death and gets crushed by a bunch of rocks. They don't really show it, but that's really what happens. So Fongo's dead, and it starts raining. And everyone thinks Kumba's dead until he wakes up. And everybody celebrates. And it makes you realize that the fact that he was different caused all these people to respect him, and we brought them all together. And you kind of see all the different species together, playing together around the new water hole. It's so cool. So that's the summary. Now, I consider this my favorite obscure movie. It's my favorite animated movie after Frozen. Maybe you may have. It's my favorite animated movie after Frozen. And I give it a 9.5 out of 10 as far as movie quality. The only reason it doesn't get... Actually, I'm just going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's so good and solid. My dad didn't love it that much, but my mom really liked it. My friends have introduced to it, love it. It's just such a good, solid, sweet-hearted movie. Kind-hearted, sweet movie that just warms my heart when I watch it. Because now I'm going to get to why it means to me. So, being autistic means that I'm different from a lot of other people. And so this movie kind of teaches me that being different isn't a bad thing. It's actually good to be different. Maybe someday I'll bring a bunch of people together. And, you make an impact on those you meet when you're different. Those who stand out tend to make more of an impact. And that's kind of like what I want to do with my life. Have an impact on people. Which I hope I've already done that. Because a lot of my friends have told me how much I've impacted their lives. So it's really cool having an impact. So it just reminds me of that. And it kind of reminds me there's nothing wrong with being different. It's kind of the lesson the movie's trying to teach. Is that there's nothing wrong with being different. And those who are different make an even bigger impact than those who are alike, like everybody else. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. I tried to leave it a mystery because I didn't want you to see that it was a movie you never heard of and decide to not watch it. So yeah, that's why I waited to reveal it in the video. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Please, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And send me an email if you want. I'm just going to leave my email in the comments.